Disclaimer: some things I say about the movies here are my own opinion. You can and are allowed to disagree with it, but do not start fights just because I said something good or bad about a movie, okay? So originally, this was supposed to be a presentation about Sonic Mania, and I'll go over how it's probably one of the best Sonic games ever made, talk about its stage, how T-Lop is one of the best video game composers ever, and how Chemical Plants object one of the best Sonic games ever. But something happened. You see, back in July, I started hearing a lot of things about this movie that had secretly been released on Netflix with barely any marketing, and how it was really good. However, I didn't really want to watch it, because I didn't think I was the target audience of this film. But I started hearing more and more about it, how it was big fiction, dethroning Disney and Pixar, how the songs got into top 1 on Spotify and various other platforms, and even becoming Netflix's most popular animated film ever. And after procrastinating for 2 weeks, I watched it. 90 minutes later, I was no longer the same person I was before seeing the movie. So ladies and gentlemen, this is no longer a presentation about Sonic Mania. It's about K-pop demon hunters and the state of the animation industry as a whole. I never thought I'd like K-pop. My only real contact with K-pop was Gangnam Style, a song that hasn't been relevant in well over a decade. But this movie proved me wrong. It is, in my opinion, the best animated movie of the year so far. What even is this movie exactly? As you can probably infer from the title, there's K-pop, demons, and people who hunt those demons. It is a rather simple plot, but that allows it to be more unique, easier to pull off, and make a great movie out of it. Never in my life would I have thought that a movie about K-pop stars hunting demons would be this good. I won't be going to the plot because I'd rather talk more about the movie's impact rather than its story. Don't get me wrong, I would love to keep talking more about the movie, but that would not be a business presentation and would be boring. Therefore, we need to move on to a much broader topic, the animation industry. K-pop Demon Hunters is made by Sony Pictures Animation, which you might know from a little-known series of movies called The Spider-Verse. And lately, Sony has been taking down Disney and Pixar in terms of original movies. I looked it up, and as for Disney, the last original movies they made which did well was Encanto in 2021, 4 years ago. And if you don't count that, it was Moana in 2016, 9 years ago. As for Pixar, it was Coco in 2017, 8 years ago. Looking at the latest movies, Disney has been doing really bad actually. Lilo and Stitch only do well because of how extremely marketed this movie was and how kids are easy to manipulate into liking something stupid. Mufasa is a pointless movie and was being compared heavily to a certain Sonic 3 when released. Snow White is definitely a movie. Moana chose just a cash grab to make some money from an actual good movie. Wish was supposed to be the movie to celebrate 100 years of Disney, but did not do well at all. No one remembers The Little Mermaid, no one knows whatever Stranger was supposed to be, and Encanto was actually good. So that is, 4 movies that flopped, 2 cash grabs, one that did well because kids are stupid, and 1 actually good movies. So out of Disney's last 8 movies, only 1 of them was truly good. And I had to mention live actions as Circus, or else Disney has no movies to talk about, and that's kinda sad. Unfortunately, Disney will keep making this because it makes them so much money. Most of the time. Anyway, let's take a look at Pixar now. Elio, which we're going to talk about later, failed miserably. Inside Out 2 is really good, but in the case of Pixar, I want to talk more about original movies rather than remakes or sequels. Elemental somehow managed to make more money than its budget, Lightyear flopped, Turning Red is definitely one of the movies of all time, as well as Luca and So. These movies have small box offices because they didn't have a theatrical release originally, and were re-released some years later in theaters. So, out of 7 movies, only 1 of them is really good, and is not even an original idea. Back in the day, when you thought about good animated movies, you probably thought of Disney and Pixar. After all, they were responsible for many great movies, like The Lion King, Toy Story, Finding Nemo, Cars, Ratatouille, WALL-E, Snow White, Mulan, Lilo and Stitch, just to mention a few. And for a long time, that was the golden standard for animation. Meanwhile, Sony never did all that well because they were really inconsistent with their movies, and had no set style like Disney or Pixar. Their first movie was Open Season, which was an average movie at best, which then got 3 more sequels that outdid worse than the original. But then they made Surf's Up, a great movie known for its comedy, but they got a sequel for some reason 10 years later, which was really bad compared to the original. They made Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, which was really unique, and got a decent enough sequel. Then they made The Smurfs, 3 total times for some reason, all of them not being exactly good. They made a Christmas movie which did kinda good, and they created the Hotel Transylvania series, which is pretty good. They then made the Emoji Movie that everyone made fun of at the time because it was so bad. But then after making a biblical movie for some reason that also failed, and Peter Rabbit, they made Into the Spider-Verse, a critically acclaimed movie to this day, which even made Sony break Disney's 6-year-long Oscar-winning streak of Best Animated Movie of the Year, and many other companies tried to replicate its visually stunning and expressive art style. Many people say you can pause basically any frame of the movie and make a poster out of it. And like I said before, other companies try to replicate the magic of Spider-Verse. DreamWorks made Bad Guys, Puss in Boots 2, The Wild Robots, Netflix with Nimona and Arcane, and even Sony was making Disney and Pixar look like fools because they continued their hot streak of good movies. Mitchell's vs. the Machines, Across the Spider-Verse, and now K-pop Demon Hunters, with the last one even getting to top 1 most watched Netflix movies of all time and stayed 10 consecutive weeks in the weekly top 10. They also made these other movies that are really important to talk about. Each of those Sony movies were all unique in their own way. While Disney and Pixar have lately been doing the same things over and over again, like remakes and using basically the same character design, Sony was always inconsistent with its movies, and I think that is Sony's greatest strength. But being inconsistent with each new movie, it allowed them to always make something different and special. They were free to take risks, like, do you really think Disney or Pixar would make something like this? They could make very niche ideas, but all their care and effort into make something truly unique that the creators could connect with, and made them flourish with each animation they created. Most of the time, showing other companies what it sounded like to be creative. I think one really great example of this is in the first Spider-Verse movie, whereas everyone else is animated on 24 frames a second, Miles is animated on 12 frames, making it look choppy compared to the rest of the cast. It's only when he accepts his role as the new Spider-Man that he starts being animated at 24 frames, which I think is a really great way to tell the story. Meanwhile, Elio, for example, Pixar's latest movie, has done terribly in the box office. It got itself to a lot of drama during its production, with the original creator leaving the project because his original vision was so different from what came out as the finished product. And critics who got access to early screening of the movie said that it was a good movie, but they wouldn't pay to watch it. The end result was a movie whose story took the safest route possible and was bland, because the idea of a misfit that finds its place among aliens is something that's been done time and time again, much better even, and does not even mention the fact they blame the audience for not going to watch it. I think that a comment I saw on YouTube sums this up really well. Kids don't want to see other kids in theaters. They want to see who they can become. They want to see appealing characters that inspire them to be someone better and greater in the future. Someone that can be their idol, not another kid who's still figuring things out. So, where do we go from here? I think we're gonna keep getting more and more animated movies and series, with Sony leading the way in this new era of animation. We've been seeing a lot more animated movies and series lately, with the ones I previously mentioned. Transformers 1, Wallace and Gromit has been revived, Flow is a passionate project made entirely using Blender, The Boy in the Harem, Orion the Dark, Nisa 1 and 2, which got to highest grossing animated movie ever, Scott Pilgrim, even Looney Tunes, and just to mention a few. We even have been getting a lot more animated series on YouTube. We got Indie Cross, it's amazing. Alan Becker has been doing this for years and is amazing at portraying such deep emotions on only using stick figures. Digital Circus blew up the internet last year, among many others. And so, Sony has really showed Disney and Pixar how it's done, and they have to start learning from their mistakes or they're gonna be left behind. And that just about concludes this presentation. I'm gonna go get myself a nice little soda pop. Go watch K-pop Demon Hunters, seriously, it's really good, and thank you for watching.